I'm sure everyone has heard the phrase, win lane, win game before, and while it may not be completely accurate, it does hold some truth. Laning phase is arguably the most important part of the game because it sets the stage for the rest of the match. Despite what a lot of people may think, I would say that bot lane is by far the most explosive and momentum based lane in the game. In fact, one of the reasons why I enjoy playing support is because it's a role that rewards aggressive play. While it's true that supports make most of the plays in the bot lane, the AD carry also plays a very important role, and it's important that both parties know how to play the lane out. Today I'm going to go over a few things that will help you control a laning phase and ultimately win your lane. First things first, let's talk about champion picks. To be strong in the current meta, supports have to have good all-in potential at level 2 or very fast pushing. If we look at the strongest supports, the list goes something like Leona, Annie, Thresh, and Lulu. The first three have very scary all-ins, and Lulu has a lot of pushing potential with Glitter Lance. Supports like Nami, Sona, and Zyra are decent, but they lack the essential tools to succeed in the bot lane. Nami and Sona both have low pushing potential and bad all-in, and while Zyra has good pushing, her all-in is quite bad. Likewise, in AD carries, you're looking for a champion that has a lot of pushing potential along with a good level 2 all-in. Champions like Lucian, Jinx, Draven, Graves, and Caitlyn are all very good in the current meta. With the exception of Draven, they all have a lot of pushing power, and Draven's lack of pushing power is made up by his crazy all-in at level 2. While champions like Vayne, Sivir, and Ezreal are also viable in the current meta, I don't feel as though they're the strongest picks in solo queue because of their weak laning phases. Vayne has little pushing power and also a bad level 2 all-in, Sivir has good pushing power but a bad all-in, and Ezreal has bad pushing but a relatively good all-in. How you play at the level 1 is dependent on what champion you're playing and who you're playing against, but one fact remains the same. Whoever hits level 2 first is probably going to control the lane for the next 5 minutes, so leveling up first is incredibly important. Not only do you get another ability to use, but you gain over 500 gold in combat stats every time you level up, which level 2 is more than double what you already have in your inventory. Once you've gained control of the momentum in bot lane, it's hard to lose it because you can continually shove into your opponent's tower to keep the CS advantage. Let's go over the steps we need to follow in order to take control of the lane. For starters, never leash for more than a few seconds. The jungler can whine about a bad leash all they want, but the fact of the matter is that junglers don't even need a leash in the first place, it's just a bonus. A few autos less on the jungler's leash is hardly going to affect them, but you missing a melee minion worth of experience in bot lane is devastating. In the first 3 minutes of the game, melee minions are worth exactly twice as much experience as caster minions. Assuming you don't miss any experience, it requires 6 melee minions and 3 caster minions to reach level 2. So basically the third melee minion of the second wave will ding you level 2. And, a bit less importantly, the third melee minion of the fourth wave will ding you level 3. This knowledge is crucial because you need to know on what creep you're going to level up so you can plan your engage before the enemy sees you level up. So then the question becomes, how do we manage to get level 2 before the enemy lane? The obvious answer is pushing the minion wave faster than the opponent, but things aren't that simple in a real game. As a support, I feel as though it's your job to distract the enemy lane and force them to attack you instead of the minions. Supports that are strong at level 1, such as Lulu or Thresh, can also look to all-in at level 1 and force the enemy away from the minion wave. If you're playing a melee support like Leona, you're put into a bit of an awkward position because almost all melee supports have weak level 1s and weak pushing power. What I like to do on Leona is continually run at the enemy lane, forcing them to respond to me instead of attacking the minions. Obviously this causes me to take a lot of damage, but Doran's Shield negates a lot of it and also allows me to regen through the damage along with health potions. Think of your health as a resource. You're sacrificing some health in order to gain control of the lane. For the AD carry, you generally want to focus on pushing the wave, but if you have a strong level 1 support like Thresh or Lulu, make sure to follow up with them if they're looking all in at level 1. The most important part is that you're shoving the lane, which means you need to take your wave clearing ability at level 1. If you're playing Jinx, you need to be firing rockets to AoE the wave down. If you're playing Caitlyn, you need to take Q first instead of traps. If you're playing Graves, you need to be firing off buckshots, so on and so forth. Pushing the first wave is important, but you don't want to push it too hard. Ideally, you want the wave to remain in the middle of the lane when you hit level 2, otherwise you won't be able to all in at level 2 due to the wave being too close to the enemy tower. Engaging near the enemy tower can be incredibly dangerous on melee supports like Leona, or against someone like Thresh, Blitzcrank, or Alistar, so make sure you don't push the wave too hard. I've talked a lot about the level 2 all-in already, but I haven't really explained it in full yet, so let's talk a little bit more about that. I'll start off by saying that a lot of people don't know that the third melee creep of the second wave will ding you level 2, so you can very easily use this to your advantage. Say, for example, you're playing Leona and you've been playing aggressive during level 1 trying to draw aggro from the enemy lane. Continue to do this while staying in range for Zenith Blade, and keep watch on the health of the enemy melee minions. Right when the third one is about to die, move forward, skill up your E, and go in immediately. The key is to have as little hesitation as possible, because you don't want to give the enemy time to react. 9 times out of 10 you're going to want to go on the support because they don't have barrier, but sometimes AD carry is a viable choice if they're out of position. Something important to mention for AD carries is to skill your CC ability second. That means for Caitlyn and Jinx you want traps, and for Draven you want stand aside. Having your CC ability at level 2 allows you to chain your CC with your support, which makes it very hard for the enemy to escape the all-in alive. After you've gained a level advantage, you want to keep pushing to the enemy lane and force them to miss last hits to the tower. In some matchup, freezing can also be beneficial. The best example is when you're playing Leona or Annie because they have a lot of zone potential. If you have control of the lane, the enemy isn't going to want to get anywhere near you because the all-in potential is just so scary. Freezing can also be effective versus low-range AD carries like Vayne or Graves because it's hard for them to get in range for last hits. The early laning phase is incredibly important in bot lane, and it's my hope that after watching this video, you have a better idea of how to play out the lane and create an advantage for yourself. If you have any questions about the video or anything at all, feel free to ask in the comment section below or tweet at me. Also, if there's anything else you want to see in future videos, make sure to let me know that too. Thank you all for watching, and as always, good luck in your games, and I'll see you all next time.